Brandon, it's Miss Fletcher. You're actually the only ninth grade online student that I have anymore, so I'm coming to you with your new work. We're going to be starting persuasive writing this term, so we'll be starting with that. And so I'm just going to go into the lesson that I gave to the class today so that you can be on, board with us, okay? So just to introduce a persuasive essay, it's like being a lawyer arguing a case before a jury. You take a stand on an issue, either for or against, and you build the strongest possible argument to win over the reader. So you're going to pick a topic or something that you're passionate about or whatever, and then you're going to be writing a persuasive paper, persuading others to think the way you think or to join in your cause or whatever. So with the persuasive essay, it's the writer's job to convince the reader to accept a particular point of view or take a specific action. For instance, if you want to clean up trash in a park in your neighborhood or something, you might, get people to take that action with you. You might convince them that, for whatever reason, picking up trash in the park is important and everybody needs to pitch in and do it. So that's kind of what the essay would be about, would be gearing toward. Getting someone to believe the way you believe. Okay? Persuasive essays require good research, awareness of the reader's biases, meaning the way you feel about things, and not the way you feel, but the reader's bias or the way that the audience feels about things, and a solid understanding of both sides of the issue. Now, when you're writing a persuasive essay, you won't be writing both sides of the issue. That would be an argumentative essay. But you'll be writing your point of view, but you should also know the other side's point of view so that you can make your reason stronger for, for having them come to your side of the issue. Okay? So you should know both sides. A good persuasive essay demonstrates not only why the writer's opinion is correct, but also why the opposing person's view is incorrect. So you'd be, like I said, you want to write stronger arguments toward your point of view, proving that their point of view is weaker. Okay. We don't do persuasive writing, but we do persuading. I'm sure there's times when you've tried to persuade your parents or your teachers or your siblings or someone to do something a certain way or what you wanted to do. So, and we also find it in advertising, like on TV and magazines and newspapers. We find it in newspaper editorials, in blogs, online, and political speeches. Sometimes persuasive writing assignments and tests prompts concern contemporary issues. Like, for example, the school board is debating on whether or not to ban cell phone use in school. So you might write an essay convincing the board to adopt your position. As shown in this persuasive writing prompt, the main purpose is not to inform, but to persuade, or convince an audience. So in this case, if the school board was trying to ban cell phones in schools, you might want to address the, address the school board to think or act in a certain way. So that's what persuasion is all about, okay? And of course, there's steps, just like there are in any other type of writing, that we would take to make, do these essays. So we'll go over the actual steps when we get into the actual writing part of it. But right now we're going to be doing practice skills, We're going to be doing practice skills. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read you a couple of short persuasive essays. So listen carefully to the essays, and then we'll do an activity from there. Okay? So the first one is called Hang Up and Drive. And obviously it's going to be about hanging up cell phones and driving. So, introduction. You see it every day, especially in freeway traffic. A car is weaving back and forth, speeding up, then slowing down, or suddenly stopping. No, it's not a drunk driver, it's a cell phone driver. Cell phones are used everywhere, but on the road, they are dangerous and a distraction to drivers and should be prohibited. So, with the thesis statement saying cell phones are used everywhere, but on the road, they are dangerous distraction to drivers and should be prohibited, that's the thesis statement. And you have to have a thesis statement in order to tell your audience what your paper is going to be about. So, in this case, that's the thesis statement. Okay, and then the first body reads, the New England Journal of Medicine reported that motorists using cell phones were 4 times more likely to have one accident than those not using a phone. The major problem is that the driver is not focused on the road, but on his or her conversation. Cell phone drivers are very unpredictable. They weave, tailgate, drive too fast or too slow, make improper turns, run red lights, and even stop at green lights. It's not only annoying, it's hazardous. Cell phone-related accidents include rear-ending vehicles, running off a road and crashing into trees, fences, and buildings, flipping over and having head-on collisions. Many of these accidents result in fatalities. In October, at the California Traffic Safety Summit, experts testified that cell phones used by drivers lead to at least 1,000 deaths per year in California. These are the same problems that occur with drunk driving, which is strictly outlawed and harshly enforced. For the same reason, California needs to have laws that restrict the use of cell phones in in cars, not in ears, in cars. Okay, so basically what they're saying in the first body paragraph is they're giving, some of the results, like the effects, if you will, of what happens when you are using a cell phone in your car. And they quote a couple of studies, and they also use some statistics, like 4 times more likely as a statistic. Okay. And then they tell you, again, they're reiterating that cell phones should be restricted in cars. Okay. Second body paragraph. Until we take action to pass new laws, drivers at least need to be more responsible when using cell phones. The American Automobile Association recommended that drivers pull off the road before using a cell phone, have a passenger use it for them, or use voicemail to answer calls. Another suggestion is to keep the phone off while moving or simply not use it in the car. Before using a cell phone, drivers should think to themselves, is this call really that important? So in the second body paragraph, they're basically giving you solutions, if you will, to the problem, or telling you, what could be done. Okay. And then in the last body paragraph, cell phones can be a virtual link in emergencies, but drivers need to use them wisely. As professional NASCAR racer John Andretti says, driving safely is your first responsibility. The best road to safety is to just hang up and drive. So again, they're trying to persuade you to hang up and drive and to listen to others who have advice for those using cell phones in cars. And then, of course, there's a conclusion which wraps up the whole essay itself. Okay, so that's one, and here's another one. This one's a little more juvenile, if you will, but it basically points to what a persuasive essay is. Okay, so I'm reading this. This is probably maybe a earlier education, or not education, but an earlier grade essay, like maybe from a 6th or 7th grader, but it still drives the point home of what a persuasive essay is. So this is called Adopting a Pet from the Pound. Owning a pet from the pound or animal rescue league has many advantages. First of all, a child feels good about rescuing an abandoned, abused animal and giving it a whole new life. Besides, if the animals from the pound aren't adopted right away, they might be put to sleep. Having a pet also means lots of responsibilities. A child has to feed, clean up after, brush, and exercise the pet. Another great advantage of having a pet from the pound is the price of these cute and cuddly animals. Pets from the pound cost a lot less than pets at a fancy pet store, which can cost hundreds of dollars. So in those first 2 body paragraphs, the writer is trying to convince the reader or the audience that owning a pet from the pound or animal rescue league has many advantages. They're trying to convince them, that you could adopt an abused animal or an abandoned animal, and give them a whole new life, and also telling you that if they're not adopted right away, they could be put to sleep by the animal pound because they don't have a lot of room or funds or food, etc., for keeping animals. So that's another good reason, according to this paper. Okay, then it says, once you've adopted a pet from the Animal Rescue League, it will quickly become part of your family. If you are thinking of adopting a pet, you might consider choosing a dog or cat. Dogs and cats can bring lots of happy times to a family, and they can be excellent companions for a person who lives alone or someone who has lost a loved one. Dogs are also a wonderful source of protection. Cats are funny, and they may help calm people down when they are sad or mad. Okay, so again, they're giving you reasons. They're giving you reasons why you would want to adopt a pet from the pound. Now, this one isn't very strong in terms of really being passionate, because like I said, it's probably written from a perspective of maybe a 6th grader who may not be as experienced in the writing process. However, it still drives home the point of what a persuasive essay is supposed to be. Okay. And then they just close it by saying, please consider adopting an animal. If you remember all of the advantages of adopting a pet from the pound, you might find the bird, mouse, hamster, dog, or cat of your choice. So that's the kind of closing of that one. Okay. So those are just examples of persuasive essays. So this is what we're going to do with that. Okay. Since you've heard examples of persuasive essays. Okay. There's words and phrases that you could use that help you persuade the listener. And this is a list of the words and phrases that you can use, and you probably can't read that. So I'll just read it to you. And I'll try to put this on Google Classroom for you just as a reference. I'm not sure that I can download it, but I'll try. Okay. So persuasive words and phrases like I am writing to, or I've heard a rumor that, or we can do without this. Now, in these types of essays, you can use personal pronouns. Obviously, they're your opinions and they're facts, so you have to use personal pronouns. Or you can say how unfair, or obviously, that's a good word to use. We can solve this by. Okay, so one of those essays talked about how you could solve the issues of cell phone use, like not using it at all, or having a friend use it, or turning it off when you're in your car, etc. I believe that. Again, there's that I, that personal pronoun, but you can use these because they're your personal opinions as well as some facts on the persuasive essay. Okay, this will cause, if these plans go ahead, do you really think? Is it really worth? These are phrases that you can use to add into your persuasive essays. They're called persuasive words and phrases. This needs to be dealt with. It will ruin our quality of life. No one but a complete idiot will believe that. Surely, or of course, and then local people feel that. This will mean that. Another thing, which is a transition word, just think about, that's also transition. How could we possibly, ... whatever. What would happen if, and then do you want to be part of? So these are just some persuasive words and phrases that you can use in your particular essay. Okay. So anyway, having heard all of that, here's what you're going to do. Okay. So you're going to brainstorm and you're going to make a cluster web or something like that, or you can do it in bullet points or whatever, but you're going to do it on a Google Doc and turn it into me. Okay. So you're going to brainstorm something that's important to you. And then you're going to put down reasons why you're, how you can persuade us. In other words, just say you want to say, I think that school uniforms are unnecessary. Say that's your topic. Then you want to talk about reasons. How can you convince us? Like, they make everybody conform to the same ideal. I don't know, whatever, there's no originality. It's against our constitutional rights. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying if this were your persuasive essay, these are some of the things that you want to put down. Like how would you convince me? What reasons would you use? You don't have to do them in sentences. Remember, you're doing like a web, or you can do bullet points or whatever. So you want to put your topic, pick something that's passionate to you so you can give your reasons, your own reasons why, and then put those down. And then what you're going to do is once you've chosen that and you've thought about the reasons, you've listed the reasons, then you want to go ahead and do some research to gather facts or examples that support those particular reasons. So in other words, again, if you chose school uniforms should be banned or whatever, and then you have your reasons for it, and then you can do some research. I would say use quotes, facts, evidence, statistics, etc. So this is just for practice. It's only a practice skill. I will try to put, a form for you on Google Classroom so you can kind of just fill it in, like what we're doing. So anyway, so that's kind of what we did today in class, and we just kind of played with it, practiced it, etc., just so you can get kind of the feel of what a persuasive essay would be like. And this, of course, will not be your topic. This is not the paper. This is just practice, just getting used to, again, to brainstorming, putting some information down on paper, how you would want to get this across to people, and then doing some research on what. Now, don't worry if you copy, like you can do quotes, like one of those had a quote by John Andretti. So you can do quotes, you can do studies, and then you can just put like studies show that, and you can put those facts and that information. Now, when you write your formal paper, of course, you're not going to be using other people's words. You'll be using your own, or you'll be quoting them. So hopefully that makes sense. You can always email me if you don't understand, what I'm talking about. But so what you're going to be doing, again, is writing, doing a web or some bullet points, choosing a topic that you're passionate about for persuading someone. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be something formal or something controversial like, right now, like politics or anything like that. It can be something like a couple of the students, one did, we should have a class for nap hour in school. And one of them did, we should have Fridays off and just go to school Monday through Thursday. And there might be facts on the internet that could support that, but you also have to have your own opinions as to why. And then some people did a little more controversial things like why guns should not be banned, or why certain guns should not be banned, or why the death penalty should be banned. So it can be anywhere from the extreme of something you feel passionately about on your own, or something that's going on in the contemporary world that you could talk about that you might agree or disagree with. Okay, so that's what you'll be doing. I'll put a form on Google Classroom for you for the homework assignment, which is just like I said, the brainstorming, bullet points, whatever, however you want to do that. And that will be it. So if you have any questions, please email me, let me know, and just make sure you turn that assignment in. It will be due for you on, they have class again on Friday, so it will be due on Friday, March 12th, I think. Yeah, March 12th. Okay. So, again, email me if you have any questions. Okay. Thanks. Have a good evening.